You know the feeling all too well. You've had a long day, you are completely exhausted, you finally climb into bed, and the moment your head sinks into that nice, cool pillow, bam, it happens. First, one nostril clogs up, then the other. All of a sudden, you can't breathe through your nose, and any chance of a peaceful night's sleep just went right out the window. It's got to be one of the most common and most frustrating bedtime betrayals there is.
It really does feel personal, doesn't it? It's like your own sinuses have a personal vendetta against you getting a good night's sleep. So why does your nose work just fine all day long, only to completely fail you the second you get horizontal? Well, it turns out it's not just you, and it's definitely not just bad luck. It's actually a pretty complex conspiracy of forces working against you, and today we are going to expose every single one of them.
All right, let's dive right in. Here's our plan of attack. First, we'll lay out the mystery itself. Then, we're going to investigate our number one suspect, the simple physics of gravity and how your body reacts to it. After that, we go microscopic to look for unseen invaders lurking in your bedroom. Then, we'll uncover a really surprising inside job, the gut-nose connection. And finally, and most importantly, we'll build a complete action plan to help you reclaim your night and breathe easy.
So, that awful feeling of a stuffy nose at night, what doctors call nocturnal nasal congestion, it isn't just a minor annoyance. It seriously messes with your sleep, and that affects everything from your mood to your immune system. And the reason it's so tricky to solve is that it's almost never just one thing. It's a combination of factors, a perfect storm that starts brewing the moment you turn out the light.
So let's get to our first suspect. And honestly, it's the most fundamental force there is, gravity. Yeah, just the simple act of going from standing up to lying down triggers a huge change in how fluids move around your body, and that alone sets the stage for congestion.
Okay, so what's really fascinating here is how this reveals a kind of physiological double whammy. See, when you're standing or sitting up all day, gravity is your best friend. It's constantly helping mucus drain down and away from your sinuses. The minute you lie down flat, that help is gone. Poof! Mucus can't drain properly, so it just starts to pool. But wait, that's only half the story. At the very same time, more blood flows to your head. This pumps up the pressure in all those tiny blood vessels inside your nose, causing those tissues to swell up and get inflamed. So you've got pooling mucus and swollen passages. It is literally the perfect recipe for a completely blocked nose.
All right, with gravity accounted for, our investigation goes a little deeper. If your stuffiness feels kind of allergic, maybe you're sneezing or your eyes are itchy, the culprit might be something you can't even see. We're talking about microscopic creatures that are sharing your bed with you every single night.
And the scale of this problem is just staggering. I mean, look at that number. An estimated 20 million Americans are actively allergic to these tiny organisms. This isn't some rare, bizarre thing. It is one of the most common indoor allergens out there, turning the very place you go to rest into ground zero for your allergic misery.
Your bed is basically a 5-star resort for dust mites. It's warm, it can get humid, and you provide a non-stop buffet of their favorite food, dead skin cells. But here's the real kicker. You aren't actually allergic to the mites themselves. You're allergic to a specific protein found in their waste particles. So when you toss and turn in bed, these tiny particles get kicked up into the air. You breathe them in, and your immune system freaks out, mistaking them for a threat. It releases a flood of histamine that triggers inflammation and, you guessed it, a stuffy, runny nose.
But you are not defenseless here. You can absolutely fight back by making your bedroom an amazing place for you and a total wasteland for them. First thing, wrap your mattress and pillows in zippered, mite-proof covers. This creates a physical barrier they can't cross. Second, you've got to wash all your bedding every week in hot water. We're talking at least 130 degrees Fahrenheit, because cold water just won't kill them. Third, they need humidity to live. So use a dehumidifier or AC to keep the humidity below 50%. This literally dehydrates them. And finally, vacuum with a HEPA filter, which is designed to trap those microscopic particles instead of just spitting them back out into the air.
Now let's move to our next clue, which reveals a truly surprising twist in this whole investigation. What if the source of your stuffy nose isn't your room or even your nose itself? What if the problem is actually starting way lower down, in your stomach? This is the inside job.
Now, this is totally different from the heartburn you might think of with acid reflux. This is laryngopharyngeal reflux, or LPR, and it's often called silent reflux because, well, you might not have any of those classic chest-burning symptoms. What happens is the muscle at the top of your stomach just kind of relaxes when it shouldn't.
This lets these tiny aerosolized droplets of stomach acid and enzymes travel all the way up your throat and into the back of your nasal passages. And all night long, they are just sitting there, causing direct chemical irritation and inflammation.
This is so fascinating because it shows you exactly why this gut-nose connection is so often missed. Just look at the overlap here. Nasal congestion? Check. Postnasal drip? Check. Chronic cough? Sore throat? Check. Check. Both conditions look almost identical. Someone could literally spend years thinking they have chronic sinusitis, trying every remedy they can find, when the real root cause is actually their digestive system. The only thing that really separates them is heartburn. But with silent reflux, you might not even have that. It's crazy.
Okay, so we've unmasked the three main conspirators behind your stuffy nose: gravity, dust mites, and silent reflux. The best part is that knowing is half the battle. Now that we've identified them, we can build a really solid strategy to fight back on all fronts and finally get a good night's sleep.
And the great news is, you can tackle all three of these culprits with some simple but really powerful adjustments. First, prop your head up. An extra pillow, a wedge, this puts gravity back on your team, helping that mucus drain. A humidifier keeps the air moist, which soothes irritated passages. To fight the reflux, stop eating at least 3 hours before bed. This gives your stomach time to empty out. It's also so important to limit alcohol and stop smoking because both of those are major irritants that also make reflux worse. And finally, just staying hydrated helps thin your mucus so it's less likely to cause a blockage in the first place.
For those nights when you just need some immediate relief, these are your go-to remedies. A simple saline nasal spray is fantastic. It's just salt water, it gently moisturizes your nasal passages and helps flush out all the gunk and allergens without any medication. You can also try steam inhalation. Just lean over a bowl of hot water. That warm, moist air can bring instant relief to swollen tissues. And hey, don't underestimate a warm cup of herbal tea. Peppermint has menthol, which is a natural decongestant, and ginger is a powerful anti-inflammatory.
Now, if you find yourself reaching for an over-the-counter spray, knowing the difference here is absolutely critical. Decongestant sprays give you that super fast relief by literally shrinking the blood vessels in your nose. They work great, but, and this is a big but, if you use them for more than 3 days in a row, you risk something called a rebound effect, where your congestion comes back even worse than before. They are for short-term emergencies only. Steroid sprays, on the other hand, work by reducing the underlying inflammation itself. They take a few days to really kick in, but they are much, much safer and more effective for managing chronic, long-term problems like allergies.
So as we wrap this up, this is the most important thing to take away. If you've been fighting with nighttime congestion, you have to stop thinking of it as one single problem. It's a battle on multiple fronts. It's a conspiracy between physics, biology, and your own lifestyle. But understanding these different forces, the pull of gravity, those microscopic allergens, and that silent irritation from your stomach, that is the absolute first step to dismantling the whole conspiracy and finally winning the fight.
At the end of the day, it really comes down to this. You spend roughly a third of your entire life asleep. That time is just too precious to spend it struggling for every single breath. You now have the intel, you have the strategies, and you have the tools. So the only question left is, are you ready to put them to work and finally take back the night?